All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. It's the Monday of Thanksgiving week, I guess you would say. One of the things that I think every time I hear about cancer, I think, well, gosh, I think the only part of your body that can't get cancer is your fingernails. Or maybe your hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it falls out, so it goes away.
So they're affected by it. So we have here a discussion about bladder cancer, not to scare you, but to prepare you or to give you information so that you could maybe catch it at the beginning and get rid of it. Monica Smith is on the phone. She's the executive director of the Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network, and the numbers are way worse for our guys than for you ladies, Robin.
Yeah.
More than 56,000 men and 18,000 women diagnosed with bladder cancer each year in the United States. So November is Bladder Health Awareness Month, and Monica's going to help us with this topic. Good morning, Monica.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you right now?
I'm in Bethesda, Maryland.
In Maryland. All right. I don't know that I've ever known anybody with bladder cancer.
Yeah, I like to call it the most common cancer you've never heard of.
Wow.
Because awareness is so low, yeah.
Oh.
There are actually more than 500,000 people living in the U.S. with bladder cancer right now.
So gosh, where do I start? What would be a sign that you have bladder cancer? A symptom?
Well, blood in the urine is the most common symptom. There's also painful urination, urgent need to urinate, abdominal pain, fatigue, and as I mentioned, they're symptoms that are they're associated with many common conditions, so we tend to ignore them.
Okay, so somebody who had like kidney stones that made its way to the bladder, right? I mean, I know somebody like that.
Yes.
By the way, could that be misunderstood or confused?
Kidney stones can often be misdiagnosed. There are people who have a history of kidney stones, and they'll see blood in the urine, and they'll just think, well, I'm passing a kidney stone. And they really need to take action and go to the doctor. And I think it's important to remember with bladder cancer that the signs and symptoms can come and go. You may have them for a few days and then be gone.
Is there a biological reason why men have it more often than women, or is it just that we don't go to the doctor like we should?
There's no biological reason that we know of right now, but the most common risk factors are smoking and exposure to environmental toxins. So, if you work as a firefighter or in a factory, or you're a hairstylist, you have more exposure to toxic chemicals. But that being said, I know plenty of survivors who haven't smoked and don't have exposure to toxins. So we just don't know, the real cause of, most cancers.
So when a person is diagnosed with bladder cancer, they're going to need a caregiver, and that caregiver has to be prepared emotionally to handle whatever comes the way of the patient that they're taking care of.
Yeah, caregivers play an important role for all illnesses. So, whether it's a spouse taking care of a spouse, or an adult child taking care of their parent, or a parent taking care of a sick child, the caregivers are the keepers of the information. They ask the questions of the doctors. They write everything down. Caregivers spend more than 13 hours per month researching services or information on a disease. So they really play an important role in the patient's life.
Oh, wow. And I'm guessing, I guess you mentioned this, it could be a family member, it could be a professional.
It could, and it could also be a friend. So, really who's ever in our life that can, help take the burden of our diagnosis, they play a really important role. And, I think it's important to note that caregivers need a lot of support, and they rarely will ask for help. So we all know we can't do it alone. So we have to recognize those people in our lives who may be going through a difficult time.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is coming. You better be thankful for your caregiver. If you have a caregiver. So I guess I look at it like this. If I were going through this, I would be the one who wanted to know everything. I don't know that I would depend on a caregiver. So I don't think I'm that unusual, though. It seems like everybody would be that way.
It's funny because it really runs the gamut. There are people who don't want to know anything, and they just listen to what the doctor says and follow the orders. There are people who go, for second, third, fourth opinions. And we have an online community that provides great support for caregivers and patients. But, I always say get your medical information from your doctor or another trusted source. So when it comes to knowing the right treatment, you really have to have that discussion with your medical provider.
Are bladder screenings included in the yearly physical for men and women, or do we have to ask for that separately?
They really aren't. The only indicator in your annual physical would be blood in your urine because you do the urinalysis. Mm-hmm. But there is no real set screening for bladder cancer at this point.
Oh.
When it's a suspected diagnosis, you get a cystoscopy, which you would not want one of those annually if you had no symptoms.
What is that? What is that?
It is a scope that goes through your urethra. So
a camera and a tube.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. And what do they look for? What do they look for?
Well, they look for tumors. And, I think our hope is with the money that we're funding in research that we'll be able to have new screenings and, of course, new treatments and a cure for this disease.
And when you hear about cancer metastasizing, if I think I'm saying that word wrong, can cancer from another part of the body that metastasizes, and correct me in the pronunciation, but it metastasizes on the bladder or in the bladder, would that be the same thing? Or I'm always confused with this. They say breast cancer can get into your liver, et cetera. Liver cancer can get into your lungs, et cetera. I don't understand any of that.
Sure, they call it a cancer metastases or metastasizing, and bladder cancer can certainly metastasize to other organs. It can metastasize to your liver or other portions of your body, and I think you bring up a good point because carcinoma in situ, also known as CIS, it's a rare form of cancer. It impacts about 10% of all those diagnosed with non-muscle invasive cancer. But without treatment, it may grow into the bladder wall and spread to other parts of the body, which is metastases. And we know when cancer metastasizes, that's when it's most deadly. So, early detection is the key with bladder cancer and really all cancers. So we have to really notice any changes in our urinary function and see the doctor.
So what do they do? I mean, if it's a worst case scenario, aside from death, do they cut the whole bladder out?
In 30% of the patients, yes. There's urinary diversion or bladder removal surgery, and some people have what they call a neobladder, where they sort of build you a new bladder internally. But there are people who have to use catheters, and people who have to use what we call an Indiana pouch. So, it's a big quality of life issue.
Sounds like a movie.
I don't want that to sound doom and gloom because I do know a woman who has a neobladder and she ran the Marine Corps Marathon last year. So you can certainly have a fulfilling life, but it's a lot different. So
help me out with the neobladder. That's made out of your own tissue? Is there such thing as an artificial bladder? Just put a bag in there or something?
No, they use some of your own tissue and they sort of build you a new bladder.
So that sensation we get that alerts us that we need to go, that's in the bladder. So if we don't have a bladder, how do we know when we need to go?
Good question.
Well, there's retraining of your muscles.
Oh, okay. Wow. Mm-hmm. And you're in Bethesda.
There's a lot of recovery with a neobladder.
In Bethesda. How's the weather in Bethesda? Not to change the subject, but
it's going to be 70 today. So it's
not bad. Not bad.
Is this hereditary? The bladder cancer part, or it's just because it's a cancer?
Not to our knowledge, but there's certainly, family history because, you may have the same kind of lifestyle as someone in your family. You may have worked at the same plant that your dad worked at, or, your family smokes a lot. So, but there is no solid genetic link as of to date.
Monica, before we run out of time, give the list. You mentioned something about an online community. I want them to be able to find out how to get that for the caregivers as well as the patients.
Sure, you can go to our website. It's beacon.org, and that's the Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network.
Okay, bcan.org. Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Monica, thank you for being on the air with us. Do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
I do.
Well, good. Well, then I'll have a happy Thanksgiving. I didn't want to offer that unless it was appropriate. Thank you for being on the air with us. And for the listeners, bcan.org. Call us if you didn't get a chance to write that down or you just need to repeat it. Thank you, Monica.
Great. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. All right, we will take a little break. Be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunny to partly cloudy, warm and humid this afternoon. A shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 83 to 87. Mostly cloudy tonight, a shower in spots, low 67 to 71. Thunderstorms, some can be heavy early tomorrow. It'll be cloudy, high 78 to 83. Showers and thunderstorms, some heavy tomorrow night. Cloudy skies at a low 60 to 71. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Steve Williams.
Hey, it's Chrissy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, November 15th through January 4th with Ice, featuring the Nutcracker. Relive your favorite scenes from the classic ballet, hand-carved in more than 2 million pounds of ice sculptures and slides. Enjoy a special bonus area, the Frostbite Factory, and watch artisans from Harbin, China carve amazing ice sculptures before your eyes. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the Nativity in Ice. For tickets and packages, visit christmas@gaylordpalms.com.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
1370 WOCA.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services, when your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements from damage repairs to new construction.